Modern dating isn't a battlefield of words, it's a war of silence, inconsistency, and power games. You've felt it. She pulls back, suddenly stops replying, and the warmth you thought was real fades into distance. And there you are, staring at your phone, trying to make sense of the silence, wondering, did I do something wrong? Was I too much or not enough? Here's the uncomfortable truth most men never hear. It's not your fault that these emotional games exist, but it is your responsibility to stop falling into them. Because if you don't learn how to hold your ground, you'll keep getting pulled into an emotional roller coaster designed to test your worth. But what if you didn't have to play along? What if the answer isn't in chasing, fixing, or trying harder, but in becoming the kind of man who no longer needs to play the game? That's where Stoicism comes in. This episode isn't about manipulation. It's not about pretending not to care. It's about learning how to respond with clarity instead of reacting from fear. It's about rising above the chaos and becoming a man rooted in calm, focused, powerful, grounded. Not because you outgrew the game. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Emotional detachment is not coldness, it's command. Most men fall apart the moment a woman pulls away. One day she's texting every hour, the next, radio silence. And instantly you spiral. You wonder what you did. You text again, you double-check your tone, your timing, your everything. But the more you chase, the more power you give away. That's where emotional detachment becomes your greatest weapon. Not to manipulate. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop allowing her behavior to define your emotional state. When she's warm, you're centered. When she's cold, you're still centered. That's the shift. That's the difference between a man she can control and a man she respects. Because here's the truth. Women test. Sometimes consciously, often subconsciously. They want to know, can this man hold his frame? Will he panic? Will he bend? Will he seek validation the moment she withdraws? If your answer is yes, you fail the test. But if you remain calm, unmoved, unbothered, not because you're indifferent, but because you've mastered your center, that's when you become magnetic. That's when she starts wondering why you're not chasing. That's when the script flips. So the next time you feel that pull to over-explain, to chase, to re-engage just to soothe the anxiety, pause, breathe, remember who you are. You're not here to fill a silence she created. You're here to rise in that silence and become louder without saying a word. This isn't apathy, this is power. Recognize the pattern. Break the spell. If there's one skill that separates emotionally grounded men from the ones who keep getting played, it's pattern recognition. Because here's the truth. Most emotional games women play aren't random. They follow scripts, patterns, loops. And once you see the pattern clearly, you're no longer trapped inside it. Take the hot and cold routine. One day she's all over you, texting nonstop, sending cute emojis, talking about the future. The next day, distant, cold, barely a word. You're left confused, anxious, wondering what changed. This is not a coincidence. It's a push-pull strategy. It's a test, a way to see if you'll chase, if you'll question yourself, if your emotional world depends on her consistency. And here's the thing. If you react by texting more, asking if everything's okay, or apologizing for things you didn't do, you fall right into the trap. You're telling her without saying a word, my center is fragile, my peace depends on your attention. But the man who passes this test does something radically different. He recognizes the pattern, and then he does nothing. He doesn't panic, he doesn't chase, he lets the storm pass and stays grounded. And that stillness? That's what throws her off. That's what makes her question her own game. Because when you don't react the way she expects, you break the pattern and reclaim the power. There's another pattern you need to see. Breadcrumbing. She gives you just enough to keep your interest. Flirty messages, vague plans, a sprinkle of affection, but never follows through. She's not investing, she's keeping you on the hook. You know how most guys respond? They wait, hope, keep showing up, thinking that one day she'll finally commit. But not you. You recognize the game, and you calmly step out of it. No accusations, no emotional confrontation, just one simple move. You call it out, clearly and calmly. Hey, I'm not looking for half in joy. If you're not serious, that's okay, but I'm not here to chase uncertainty. That's it. No drama, just dignity. And when you do this, one of two things will happen. She'll either respect you more or disappear. Either way, you win. Because when you stop responding to patterns designed to provoke you, confuse you, or control you, you step into a new space. A space where your emotions no longer orbit her mood, a space where your worth isn't held hostage by her attention. This is how you outsmart the game, by seeing it for what it is, and walking away before it traps you. Chapter 3. Set boundaries that command respect. Here's a hard truth. If you don't set boundaries, you don't get respect. Not from her, not from anyone. Too many men think that being agreeable, easygoing, and accommodating will make a woman stay. That if you give her freedom, attention, and unconditional patience, she'll value you more. But the opposite is true. When you have no boundaries, you teach her that it's okay to walk all over you. She cancels plans last minute and you say, "No worries." She disappears for days and you say, "Hope everything's okay." She flirts with other guys in front of you and you pretend it didn't happen. Every time you let it slide, you think you're being chill. But what she's feeling is very different. This man doesn't respect himself enough to stop me. And if you don't respect yourself, why should she? A boundary isn't about controlling her behavior, it's about protecting your peace. You're not telling her what she can or can't do, you're telling her what you will or won't tolerate. That's a very different energy. Let's say she keeps canceling last minute. You don't lash out, you don't guilt trip. You simply say, "I value consistency. If making time is a problem, I understand, but I don't do back and forth." That's it. Direct, grounded, calm. Or imagine she starts flirting with other guys to provoke you. You don't start competing. You don't get jealous. You say, "If you're interested in other men, I'm not the guy for you. I don't share energy where it's not respected." And then you walk away, not to punish her, but to uphold the standard. Because here's the real secret about boundaries. You don't need to scream them. You don't need to repeat them. You just need to mean them and enforce them, not with words, but with action. If she crosses the line once, address it. If she crosses it again, remove yourself. No second guessing, no waiting for change. That's when she starts to feel the shift. She realizes, you're not like other men. You're not reactive, but you're also not soft. You're not cruel, but you're clear. You are the man who chooses what energy stays in his life. And whether she likes it or not, she'll respect it. Because boundaries aren't threats, they're mirrors. They reflect your self-worth, and when you raise the standard, you force everyone around you to level up. Or leave. And either outcome is peace. Chapter 4. Stay calm under pressure. This is where most men fail and where the Stoic man rises. When a woman plays emotional games, it's rarely about logic. It's about provoking a reaction, a shift in your energy, a crack in your composure. She might bring up her ex in casual conversation. She might flirt with another guy right in front of you. She might drop a passive-aggressive comment to test your confidence. Most men, they fall right into the trap. They get angry, jealous, reactive. They try to prove themselves, reclaim attention, or argue to reestablish control. And the moment they do, the power shifts to her. But a Stoic man is different. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't chase, he doesn't compete. He observes, because he knows this isn't about the moment, it's about the frame, who controls it, who owns the emotional tone of the interaction. Let's take an example. She casually says, "My ex used to take me to this amazing restaurant. I miss those nights." Most men would respond with, "Why are you bringing him up?" Or, "Are you still into him?" But a Stoic man? He smiles and says, "That's cool, sounds like a good memory," and then moves on. No jealousy, no defensiveness, just calm. And that calm, that unshakable stillness, that's what disrupts her test. Because she expected a reaction, and you gave her centered energy, she was trying to move you emotionally, and failed. Or let's say you're at a party and she starts flirting with another guy in your presence. Maybe she wants to make you jealous. Maybe she wants to spark attention. Most men would either confront her or try to one-up the other guy. But the Stoic man simply steps back and lets her play her game, without giving it power. Because here's what he knows deep down. If she's doing this to test him, he's already won, because he's unmoved. And if she's doing it because she genuinely doesn't respect him, then he's already gone, in spirit, if not yet in presence. And that clarity, that self-honoring detachment, it sends a message stronger than any confrontation ever could. You cannot shake me, you cannot bait me, you cannot lead me off center. And that energy is rare. So rare that it becomes magnetic. The truth is, emotional strength isn't shown when things are calm. It's revealed when things get uncomfortable. When your ego wants to lash out, but your wisdom keeps you grounded. When your heart races, but your voice remains steady. That's power. And women feel that power. Not in your tone, not in your words, but in your refusal to be moved. You are not her emotional project. You are not her reaction machine. You are the grounded presence in a chaotic world. And that's why you win. Chapter 5. Focus on long-term goals. Stop obsessing over short-term attention. There's a trap most men fall into without even realizing it. They trade long-term purpose for short-term validation. One moment, you're on your path, building, growing, focused. The next, you're checking your phone, waiting for her reply, wondering why she hasn't called. Just like that, she becomes the center of your world, and you abandon your mission. Here's the Stoic truth. The man who loses his path to gain a woman's attention loses both. When you focus on your long-term goals, everything shifts. You stop needing her to validate your worth because you're validating it through your own progress. You stop needing daily emotional check-ins because your deeper sense of meaning comes from a place she can't give or take. Think about this. When you're truly immersed in your vision, your business, your body, your craft, you don't have time for emotional games. And even if she pulls away, your life doesn't stall. You don't spiral. You don't chase. You keep moving forward, like a train that doesn't stop just because someone got off at the last station. That energy is rare, and rare is attractive. Because when she sees you choosing purpose over panic, direction over distraction, she feels it. She sees a man with momentum, a man who won't drop everything for her moods. And that's the man she doesn't want to lose. Let's make this practical. Say you've been dating a woman for a few weeks. Things go well, then suddenly she starts pulling back. Less texting, less interest, less effort. Most guys panic, they over-message. They try to fix the drop in attention. But the Stoic man sees it differently. He thinks, if she's stepping back, maybe that's life creating space for me to double down on my mission. So he gets to work. He trains harder, learns faster. He deepens the focus he was losing, not to make her regret, but to make himself unstoppable. And here's the paradox. The less you obsess over her, the more she starts to wonder why you're not. That's not manipulation, that's magnetism. Because women are drawn not to your neediness, but to your self-containment, your mission, your growth. So next time your thoughts start spinning about where she's at, what she's thinking, or why she hasn't responded, pull your attention back. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can build right now that she has nothing to do with? That is your path. And if she wants to walk beside you, great. But if not, You're walking anyway. And that is what makes you unstoppable. Chapter 6. Avoid emotional retaliation. Silence is your sharpest blade. Let's be brutally honest. When she plays games, when she ghosts, flirts with other guys, or tries to provoke jealousy, your first instinct is to strike back, to show her how it feels, to take back control by doing exactly what she did. But here's the bitter truth. The moment you retaliate emotionally, you lose. Why? Because now you're not leading, you're reacting. You're no longer a man grounded in strength. You've become a mirror of her chaos. And Stoicism? Stoicism teaches the opposite. It teaches stillness when you're tempted to explode. It teaches discipline when your ego screams for revenge. It teaches you this. Power doesn't come from payback, it comes from detachment. Let's break this down. She flirts with someone in front of you. You feel the fire rise in your chest. Your pride gets punched. You want to flirt back, make her jealous, send a message. Don't. Because the moment you do, you're not responding from clarity, you're bleeding from insecurity. You're letting her behavior dictate your masculinity. And that's not power. That's submission dressed as pride. Instead, say nothing. Let the silence speak. Let the lack of reaction cut deeper than any clever comeback ever could. Or she ghosts you, leaves your messages unread, then posts stories hoping you'll bite. Most men would reply out of spite, or worse, send something passive-aggressive to regain a sense of control. But you withdraw attention. Quietly. Not out of anger, but out of principle. You don't chase someone who disrespects your energy. You don't match manipulation with manipulation. You rise. You exit the game. And the beauty of this? When you refuse to play, you break the rules. You change the script. You disrupt the emotional blueprint she's used to controlling. And suddenly, you become the one she can't predict. That's what makes her spiral. That's what makes her reflect. But here's the real point. You don't do this to win her back. You do it to win yourself back. Because the man who retaliates is still emotionally dependent, but the man who detaches, he's free. So the next time your pride gets poked, pause. Don't move. Don't speak. Don't type. Let your dignity respond for you. Because there's nothing louder than a man who refuses to retaliate. Chapter 7. Communicate clearly and firmly. Speak like a man who doesn't need to repeat himself. There comes a point where silence isn't enough, where withdrawal alone won't convey what needs to be said. And when that moment arrives, your words must carry weight. Not volume, not emotion, weight. Most men fall into two traps when it comes to communication. They either avoid the hard conversations altogether, or they explode with pent-up emotion. One leads to quiet resentment, the other leads to chaos. Neither creates respect. But the Stoic man does something different. He speaks with clarity, with firmness, with the calm certainty of someone who knows his worth and doesn't need to argue for it. Let's say she's acting distant, inconsistent. You don't accuse. You don't plead. You don't chase. You simply say, "Hey, I've noticed something's shifted. If there's something going on, I'd rather hear it straight. I value directness." Short, clear, direct. No drama. Or maybe she keeps canceling plans last minute, offering weak excuses. Most guys either say nothing or guilt trip her, but not you. You say, "If time together isn't a priority, that's okay, but I'm not in the business of uncertainty." Again, no anger, just standard. Because here's the secret. Communication isn't about control. It's about calibration. You're letting her know what you expect, not to make demands, but to make your boundaries visible. And the moment you speak from that place, not insecurity, not frustration, but calm inner truth, everything changes. She hears something different. She hears certainty. And she hears that you're not afraid of losing her because you're unwilling to lose yourself in the process. You don't speak to keep her, you speak to keep your peace. And if she meets you at that level, great. If not, you walk. Without raising your voice, without explaining yourself 5 times, without justifying your needs. Because here's the masculine truth no one teaches young men. You don't need to yell to be heard. You don't need to argue to be understood. You just need to mean what you say and be willing to walk if it's not respected. Speak once, speak clearly, and if your energy is not met, step away with grace. That's not ego, that's discipline. And women respect the man who knows when to speak and when not to speak again. Chapter 8. Prioritize your own well-being. Protect your peace like it's sacred. In the game of modern dating, too many men sacrifice their mental clarity for the illusion of connection. They tolerate mixed signals, emotional turbulence, and manipulative patterns, not because they're weak, but because they've been conditioned to believe that staying is strength. It's not. Real strength is knowing when your peace is being threatened and walking away to protect it. Here's the truth. Your well-being isn't negotiable. Not for her mood swings, not for her attention, not even for her affection. Because the man who gives up his emotional health to maintain a relationship isn't being loyal, he's being lost. Ask yourself honestly, how often have you stayed silent when something hurt you? How many times did you make excuses for her erratic behavior just to keep things going? How much energy have you burned wondering if you're the problem when deep down you knew you were being disrespected? If your answer is too often, then hear this clearly. You owe yourself better. Because no woman, no matter how attractive, charismatic, or intoxicating, is worth sacrificing your sanity. And the moment you realize this, everything changes. When you begin to treat your emotional energy like currency, you spend it wisely. You stop handing it to people who don't appreciate its value. You start reserving it for things and people that give back. And something powerful happens. You stop walking on eggshells. You stop apologizing for having standards. You stop letting someone else's inconsistency define your self-worth. Instead, you reclaim your mornings. You get back to the gym, you dive into your craft, you spend time with people who uplift you instead of drain you. You create space, not to punish, but to heal. That kind of alignment doesn't just change your relationships, it rewires your entire life. And ironically, the moment you stop prioritizing her comfort over your own clarity, she feels it. She senses that shift, that distance, that dignity, and she either steps up or fades out. Either way, because the man who puts his well-being first isn't he's self-aware. And women don't truly fall for the man who gives them everything. They fall for the man who refuses to give up himself. So from now on, treat your mind like sacred ground, your heart like protected territory, and your peace as the non-negotiable standard by which all else is measured. Chapter 9. Practice patience. The man who waits without needing wins without trying. In a world addicted to instant gratification, patience has become a superpower. Most men don't have it. They want clarity now. They want answers now. They want her love, her texts, her validation now. So when she doesn't respond for a few hours, they spiral. When she pulls back emotionally, they chase. When things feel uncertain, they panic. But a stoic man, he waits. Not passively, not as a manipulation, but because he knows who he is and he doesn't need an immediate reply to feel secure. Patience isn't about ignoring your feelings, it's about mastering them. Because the truth is, women will test your patience. They'll go silent, delay their response, cancel plans last minute, not always out of cruelty, but often out of curiosity. They want to know, can he hold steady when I shake the frame? And if you can't, if you text again, apologize for things you didn't do, or get emotional too soon, you fail that test. But if you stay centered, if you keep living your life, not out of spite, but out of fullness, something shifts. She feels it. She starts wondering, why isn't he chasing me? Why hasn't he double texted? Why is he so calm? And that stillness, that refusal to rush into insecurity, becomes the most attractive thing about you. Because most men react, few can wait. Waiting shows you're not desperate. It shows you have options. It shows that your world doesn't stop spinning just because hers paused. But let's be clear, patience doesn't mean doing nothing forever. It means you're willing to delay the need for answers until clarity reveals itself on its own. It means you don't force conversations that aren't ready to be had. It means you trust your process more than you fear the unknown. Here's the paradox. The more patient you are, the faster things come to you. Because you're not pushing, you're allowing. And while she's used to men blowing up her phone, trying to reclaim her attention, you're the one building something bigger, yourself. So next time she delays her reply, don't flinch. Next time she gets distant, don't react. Let her feel your absence, not as punishment, but as proof that you don't need to fill space that wasn't offered willingly. That is true confidence. The man who waits wins, not because he chased the prize, but because the prize realized it couldn't find better anywhere else. Chapter 10. Choose when to walk away and mean it. There's a moment, quiet, sharp, undeniable, when you realize you've seen enough. You've analyzed every message, held space for every excuse, offered patience where others would have exploded. But now, clarity settles in like a still fog. This isn't where your energy belongs anymore. And that's the moment you walk away. Not out of anger, not to punish, not to provoke, but because you've outgrown the game. See, most men think walking away is dramatic, that it's weakness, that if you leave, you lose. But that's only true if you are walking for attention. A Stoic man walks for alignment. He walks because staying would mean betraying himself. And that's a price too high for any form of affection. When you walk away with calm confidence, not slamming doors, not posting cryptic quotes, not looking back, you send a message louder than words. I don't need to be chosen. I choose myself. And here's the paradox. When you truly mean it, she often comes back. Because nothing stings like a man who didn't chase. Nothing confuses her more than the man who quietly disappeared, without bitterness, without a scene, just vanished into growth. But let's be very clear. You don't walk to get her back. You walk to get yourself back. Because even if she never reaches out again, even if she doesn't feel the loss, doesn't miss your presence, doesn't regret a thing, you've already won. Why? Because you reclaimed your time. You recentered your mind. You built your habits. You protected your peace. You became the man who no longer needs validation to feel valuable. And that man, he's rare. Because most men stay, they wait, they hope, they shrink to fit into love that no longer fits them. But you rise. You leave not because you stopped caring, but because you started caring about the right person. And when the next woman comes along, you won't approach from need or fear or emptiness. You'll approach from clarity, calmness, and abundance. Because you've walked before, and you're not afraid to walk again. If you've made it this far, pause. Not just the audio. Pause you. Take a breath. Because what you just heard wasn't a guide to beat her at her own game. It was a map back to yourself. To the part of you that stopped chasing, that started choosing, that remembered, you don't need her to come back crawling. You need to rise so far above the noise that crawling no longer matters. This is the path of the chill Stoic. Not loud, not bitter, not reactive, but deep, solid, focused. Thank you for listening. And thank you for showing up for you. Now get back to your mission. She might come back. She might not. But either way, you won't be waiting. You'll already be gone.